Just when you thought you could turn your back and walk away, the dark cloud of human indignity follows you. You have no choice but to turn and look it in the eye. It's the sex offender hit list.
And up to Pennsylvania, we've got a Strasburg man and former volunteer middle school music director. He was recently sentenced to prison for charges related to child sexual abuse. This is David Griffith, a 28-year-old, and he pleaded guilty on August 29th to 13 charges related to child sexual abuse material, the corruption of minors, and tampering with evidence, according to court documents. Griffith previously worked at the Phoenix Academy and Village Greens Miniature Golf Course in Strasburg, and he was a volunteer middle school music director at the Lampeter Strasburg School District. A police investigation started in October of 23 and found that he offered oral sex to minors and took a video of a naked minor without their knowledge. See ya, sick, disgusting chomo. Over to West Virginia, a man was sentenced to 20 to 40 for sex crimes against a child. Keith Wayne Hairston, a 34-year-old of Charleston, was convicted on 2 counts of sexual abuse by a parent, guardian, custodian, and person of position of trust on June 24th. Hairston was just sentenced to 10 to 20 years on each count. The sentences will run consecutively, as well as consecutive to his current sentence from a previous drug trafficking conviction. So, he's not getting out, guys. Harrison was also determined to be a sexually violent predator and will serve 50 years of supervised release if he ever does get out. According to court documents, around August of 23, Hairston began making inappropriate comments towards the juvenile victim. According to the Kanawha County prosecutor, Hairston sexually assaulted the minor multiple times between August and November of last year. See ya, chomo.
Now get in there!
Alright, thanks goes out to Dakota Hayes for this one. We're going to head to Virginia. Allegheny County deputies said a 39-year-old employee has been charged with crimes committed against a minor after an undercover chat operation. On September 10th, investigators with the Allegheny County Sheriff's Office Investigations Division began an online undercover chat operation with a suspected sexual predator. That suspect was later identified as this chomo, Kevin Lee Joyce, from Roanoke County. According to the deputies there, during the conversation, Joyce was under the impression that he was speaking with a female that was under the age of 15, which he admitted to during his interview with the authorities. And it was later discovered that Joyce was a high school teacher in the Roanoke City school system. During the conversation, Joyce expressed his intentions of traveling to Allegheny County to meet the alleged juvenile and have a sexual encounter. Well, because Joyce was an employee of the school system, the deputies decided to arrest Joyce as quickly as possible instead of waiting for him to travel to Allegheny County. Roanoke County authorities were notified of the investigation and provided help. Then on Tuesday, the Allegheny County Sheriff's Office obtained search warrants for Joyce's residence, his school computer, and any other evidence they could get their hands on. And of course, Joyce was charged with 5 counts of the use of communication systems to facilitate certain offenses against minors. And we know what those offenses that he wanted to do were. Joyce has been placed on leave and his continued employment status will be determined pending the results of this investigation. According to the Forest Park Academy website, the school he taught at, Joyce is listed as a mathematics teacher. Joyce was taken to the Roanoke County Jail where he was held without bond and later taken to the Allegheny County Regional Jail where he is currently being held. See ya, chomo. Kane County, Kentucky. An East Dundee man has been sentenced to 8 years in prison after pleading guilty to sharing child sexual abuse material. The Kane County State's Attorney's Office announced that Eric Torres, a 26-year-old, reached a plea agreement with the prosecutors and admitted to sharing a video that depicted the sexual abuse of a child under the age of 13. Assistant State's Attorney Matthew Rogers described the content of the video as extremely disturbing. The video Mr. Torres disseminated depicted a very young child being brutally abused in a sexual manner. This sentence holds him accountable and hopefully serves to deter other potential offenders. Life in prison might deter him.
My mother told me there'd be days like this.
Georgia. A Wesson man has been found guilty of multiple counts of sexual battery and sentenced to, you're going to like this, 360 years in prison. 53-year-old Robert Earl Sanders of 3022 Crest Lane was found guilty Wednesday in the Circuit Court of Lincoln County after a 2-day trial on 12 counts of sexual battery. The charges stemmed from an investigation after the victim came forward and disclosed that Sanders has been molesting her since 2012. Now 22 years old, the victim detailed to the jury the years of abuse committed against her, and after the jury returned its verdict, Judge Michael Taylor sentenced Sanders to 360 years in the custody of the Mississippi Department of Corrections to serve the first 350 years day for day. This means Sanders cannot be eligible for parole or earned release supervision or be able to ever get out of prison for the rest of his life. So we got the true see ya, Chomo. Ohio. A Leavittsburg man will have to register his address with authorities after he serves only a year and a half in prison. It's a slap on the wrist. After pleading guilty earlier in a child sexual abuse material case. Trumbull County Common Pleas judge handed down the prison sentence on Wednesday to 44-year-old James Harper, who pleaded guilty in July to 2 counts of disseminating matter harmful to juveniles and a count of pandering obscenity. According to the Trumbull County Prosecutor's Office, the victims were an underage male and female who were both under the age of 14. Prosecutors say child sexual abuse material was downloaded to Harper's electronics as the case was being investigated by the Warren Township Police Department and Trumbull County Children's Services. Harper was also designated as a Tier 1 sex offender at his sentencing, and he will have to register with the Sheriff's Office once per year for the next 15 years. Should have been a lot worse than that. Chomo got lucky.
I'd like to know what dirty stone pigeon squealed on me.
Springfield, Illinois. The Illinois State Police report that 6 Central Illinois men were arrested after an extensive investigation for alleged internet crimes against children, including possession and dissemination of child sexual abuse materials. Robert W. Retzloff, 45, of Taylorville, was arrested September 5th on 8 counts of dissemination of child sexual abuse material, a Class X felony. Retzloff is being held at the Christian County Jail. And as a result of 5 additional child exploitation investigations in Sangamon County, the ISP agents arrested 5 men between September 18th and 19th. Second, we've got Nicholas R. Hackworth, a 20-year-old, and he's from Springfield. He's being charged with 12 counts of possession of child sexual abuse material. Then we've got Daniel McBride, a 22-year-old of Springfield also, charged with 13 counts of dissemination of child sexual abuse material, as well as 2 counts of dissemination of child sexual abuse material. Then we have Cam A. Metzger, a 37-year-old of Springfield, charged with 12 counts of possession of child sexual abuse material. And now Stephen K. Peak, a 20-year-old of Springfield also, charged with 3 counts of dissemination of child sexual abuse material, as well as 2 counts of possession of child sexual abuse material, another Class 2 felony. So we've got a couple Class X and a couple Class 2s. Now we're going to move on to Giacomo A. Percarlo III, a 23-year-old of Springfield, charged with 2 counts of dissemination of child sexual abuse material and 10 counts of possession of child sexual abuse material, the Class 2 felony. What a buttload of chomos. New Mexico Department of Justice special agents from our Internet Crimes Against Children's Unit arrested and charged Perry Poole with possession of sexual exploitation of a child under 13. ICAC agents obtained a search warrant for Poole's residence where child sexual abuse materials were found on his electronic devices. We will continue to protect kids and hold those accountable that exploit and harm them. See ya, chomo.
Let me out of here! Let me out of here!
One for a rainbow, one for Amanda.
Who you playing with, sweetie?
Amanda.
Oh, who are you?
I'm Amanda. I'm 6, and I love unicorns.
Sexual predators are seeking kids online.
We don't know Amanda.
Learn how to report abuse at end-violence.org/protect.